If you use OpenClaw seriously, the latest update is one of those releases that can be easy to misunderstand at first glance. Because version 2026.3.23 is not really the update where the whole platform changed direction. That happened mainly in 2026.3.22. What 2026.3.23 does is something just as important. It stabilizes, cleans up, and sharpens that new direction. So in this video, I want to break down what actually changed in the latest OpenClaw update, how it compares with the previous release, what the real benefits are for everyday users, and what we can realistically expect in the coming weeks. First, let's set the versioning straight. OpenClaw uses a date-based versioning scheme, so version 2026.3.23 means the March 23, 2026 release. The official appcast lists 2026.3.23 as the latest release, published on March 23, 2026. That matters because when people talk about the latest update, they sometimes mix together changes. The easiest way to understand it is this. OpenClaw 2026.3.22 was the big platform release, and OpenClaw 2026.3.23 is the refinement release. In 2026.3.22, OpenClaw made much larger structural moves. That release pushed the platform toward ClawHub first installs. It introduced major plugin changes, removed the old Chrome relay, standardized image generation, and cleaned up legacy config behavior. Then came 2026.3.23, and the tone changed. Instead of another architecture swing, this release focuses on making the new system feel more polished and dependable. Officially, it adds standard dash scope endpoints for Quen, relabels that provider group more clearly, and consolidates control UI button primitives. It refines the knot theme into a more consistent black and red palette, and improves accessibility to WCAG 2.1 AA standards. That UI work matters more than it might sound. OpenClaw is no longer just a terminal-heavy project for power users, it's becoming a serious operator surface. It means the team is not just shipping features anymore, it is starting to smooth the experience and reduce friction in the areas users touch every day. There is also a strong reliability story. OpenClaw 2026.3.23 fixes missing bundled plugin runtime sidecars and NPM installs. It also fixes channel authentication flows by auto-selecting the single configured login-capable channel. This is huge for users on WhatsApp, Slack, or Discord. Another practical improvement is token handling. The update stops live gateway auth, rights from reverting newly saved credentials back to stale values. The release also improves operator scope handling. It preserves scopes through device auth bypass and shows clearer fallback messages when permissions fail. There is also a significant browser stability angle. The notes specifically address Chrome MCP attach timing and CDP reuse behavior. OpenClaw now waits for existing session tabs to become usable after attach, instead of assuming the initial handshake means everything is ready. What 2026.3.23 is doing is making that new browser model work more reliably. It cleans up the regressions and edge cases the migration exposed. The ClawHub story also becomes clearer. The release fixes authentication and compatibility issues around those flows on macOS and XDG setups. That tells you the team is actively hardening the new marketplace-centric architecture instead of treating it as a one-and-done launch. So what changed in one sentence? 2026.3.22 introduced the new shape of OpenClaw, while 2026.3.23 makes that shape usable with fewer failures. The previous release brought the heavy structural changes. The latest release tightens UI clarity, access control, auth persistence, and stability. Now let's talk about benefits. For everyday users, the biggest benefit of 2026.3.23 is not one big headline feature, it is reduced friction. If you use the UI, it looks cleaner and is easier to navigate. If you use channels, login behavior is less annoying. All of these reduce the invisible tax on users. For plugin developers and advanced operators, this release reinforces the idea that the post-2026.3.22 architecture is the one OpenClaw intends to keep. The marketplace path is being repaired, and the UI security model is being hardened. The project is consolidating around this model. There is also a significant security benefit. Even though the more dramatic hardening belongs to 2026.3.22, this release continues narrowing the attack surface. OpenClaw is steadily reducing unsafe defaults. That is exactly what you want from an agent platform that can touch tools, tokens, and remote environments. Now, the most interesting question: what should we expect in the coming weeks? Based on the patterns, I see stabilization patches ahead. The most likely near-term focus is stabilization patches, not another giant architectural reset. That is my reading of the current trajectory. Why do I say that? Because the open issue queue still shows active pain points around browser-driven tasks in Docker, gateway loops, and WhatsApp regressions. The next few weeks will probably center on 4 things: browser stabilization, channel reliability, ClawHub polish, and token session correctness. I also think we are likely to see continued refinement of the control UI. The release spends real effort on theme consistency, accessibility, and icons. The latest release touches Qwen-Scope, OpenAI token persistence, and Mistral defaults. It suggests OpenClaw is making provider routing more dependable. So my final read is this: OpenClaw 2026.3.23 is a trust-building release. It makes the platform changes more coherent, more secure, and more reliable. If you are an OpenClaw user, the main takeaway is simple. The previous release changed the foundations. This release makes those foundations less shaky. The project is moving from expansion into consolidation, and that is when a powerful tool starts becoming a dependable one. See you in the next update.